What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Very exciting to watch unified light heavyweight champion Arthur Beterbiev, who's must-see TV. He's going to be taking on, first of all, he's going to be defending the IBF WBC titles against the WBC mandatory contender who's ranked number 1 in the WBC, Marcus Browne. Can't wait to watch this fight, man. It's going to be a very intriguing matchup. Arthur Beterbiev has a record of 16 wins, 0 losses, 16 KOs. That's a 100% knockout ratio for y'all to keep the score at home. So everybody he's been in the ring, he stops. Ain't nobody made it to the final bell and hear the judges' scorecards. Ain't none of his opponents have able to make it to that stage of the fight. So you got to give this guy credit. Now, when you look at his resume, he don't have the best resume. In my opinion, he's been in there with basically 2 fighters out of the 16 fighters that he fought. But he's got 2 belts, so you got to give credit what's credit's due. But he's been in there with Callum Johnson, who hurt him. If I'm not mistaken, he might even drop to Arthur Beterbiev. Arthur Beterbiev was able to show his ability to overcome adversity. He was able to withstand those rocky moments by Callum Johnson. He was able to get the decision win. Now, his best performance and best win of his career was against Alexander Gosvic. And I was happy to see it for multiple reasons. One reason I was happy to see it because I'm an Arthur Beterbiev fan. Another reason I was happy to see it because I didn't like what Alexander Gosvic said after he defeated Adonis Stevenson. He said he was not going to fight any fellow countryman. He was going to be fighting anybody from his neck of the woods, basically. You know, basically pulling a Canelo Alvarez. You remember Canelo Alvarez says he ain't fighting no more Mexican fighters. And you notice that Canelo Alvarez haven't fought a Mexican fighter since the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight. That fight was, what, 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken? Maybe even 4 years ago. We're about to go to 2022, 3 to 4 years ago. So he's held true to his word that he ain't fighting no more Mexican fighters. So everybody looking to see David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez, you're going to be waiting for a long, long, long time, maybe forever. You might not never see that fight. You know, and Canelo Alvarez has told you guys that, and he's held true to his word. Just look at who he's fought in the last 3 or 4 years. With all that being said, that was Arthur Beterbiev's best win, because that was a unification fight, as Gosvic was able to stop Adonis Stevenson, a.k.a. Superman, in a very exciting matchup. Wasn't that on the undercard of the Errol Spence Jr. Mikey Garcia fight? It wasn't even on the undercard of that fight. It was like the main event for Fox. You know, that's back then they was doing main events on regular Fox, and then they would switch over to the pay-per-view. They was doing what they do in the UFC. You know, UFC had the preliminary card on ESPN, and they switched to the pay-per-view card, you know, later on. That's what the PBC was doing. It seemed that they have got away from that here recently, but they was doing that. And I believe the Adonis Stevenson fight was in Montreal, Canada, in Stevenson's backyard. And that was the main event on Fox. And I believe that was the prelude to the main event card featuring Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia. With all that being said, that was his best win. Arthur Beterbiev, he was able to stop him, dropped him multiple times. Alexander Gosvic, who I thought was a better puncher than he turned out to be going into that fight, because I saw what he did to Adonis Stevenson, but that was past his best. Adonis Stevenson, he had been in there with Badou Jack previously. Badou Jack had did a lot of damage to him, and I just think Gosvic capitalized on what was left of Adonis Stevenson from that Badou Jack fight, which was a brutal fight. That was a brutal fight. Quiet as kept, that was a brutal fight. A brutal fight. I say a beautiful fight. It was a beautiful fight and a brutal fight. As in the second half of that fight, man, Adonis Stevenson took a lot of punishment from Badou Jack, who's a great body puncher. And I think it had a lasting effect on him. And going into that Gosvic fight, man, I think Gosvic took advantage of it, man. It ultimately stopped him. And Adonis Stevenson had problems after that fight. And he had I think he had a blood clot in his brain. So he was fighting for his life. He was able to come back from that. He was able to rehabilitate from that, and he's back living a normal life, man. I'm thankful for that, man. But Gosford, man, I didn't like how he was moving after that fight, talking about he didn't want to fight no fellow countrymen. So I was glad that he lost, man, that fight with Arthur Beterbiev. Now, Arthur Beterbiev was able to close the distance. He was able to land the right hand. He was able to land the left hook to the body. He showed great patience in that fight as he applied smart pressure. Not reckless pressure, but smart pressure. He was able to close the distance, get in the punching range, and tee off on Gosford in the second half of that fight, man. Gosford was on his bicycle pulling Lance Armstrong in the second half of that fight, man. He didn't have a snap on his punches due to the early body work by Arthur Beterbiev, and it paid dividends in the second half of that fight as he was able to walk down and chop down Alexander Gosford to become unified light heavyweight champion. He's going to be looking to apply the same game plan against Marcus Browne. But Marcus Browne, like Alexander Gosford, is a boxer puncher. A guy that likes to fight on the outside and a guy that likes to throw combinations. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, Arthur Beterbiev can't get out of the way of the 1-2. He can't get out of the way of the 1-2, man. Gosford was catching with the 1-2 at will early on in that fight. He's going to have to do a little bit better defense on the 1-2, man. So the 2-punch combination is going to be there for Marcus Browne. What he can't do is stay there. He got to get the 1-2 off and get out. So that's what hurt him in the Jean Pascal fight. He landed combination punches and he stayed in there too long. And John Pascal was able to catch him. He was able to catch him with that left hook. I think that first knockdown John Pascal had was a left hook because Marcus Browne stayed in there too long. And another thing Marcus Browne did was stay down, man, until you get your gathering. He tried to jump up quick like he wasn't hurt, pulling a Zab Judah. That's what hurt Zab Judah in the Costa Zoo fight. When you hurt like that, stay down. You got the 10. You got a 10 count. You got the 9 to get up. Why you trying to get up at 1? Or damn near 2. You trying to jump up like you ain't hurt. Stay down, man. Get your gatherings. Get yourself together and get back up and follow the game plan. Don't make that mistake again. But he jumped up all quick. He was doing a stinky leg just like Zab Judah was doing a stinky leg when Costa Zoo dropped him. And ultimately got stopped in that fight. Luckily, he was able to see the final bell against Jean Pascal, but he got dropped multiple times in that fight, and that cost him that fight as he lost to John Pascal by split decision. That's his only loss of his pro career. He's beaten some solid fighters. He beat Thomas Williams Jr. He's beat him. He's probably his best win was against Badu Jack. That was a gruesome fight, though. Badu Jack had a beach ball in the middle of his forehead. That was, due to the head clashes. But that cannot, in my opinion, take away from the performance by Marcus Browne. He fought a beautiful fight, man. A very disciplined fight, man. And he hurt Badu Jack multiple times. And Badu Jack has a real good chin, man. But he was able to land some shots. I believe he dropped Badu Jack in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. Fought a beautiful fight. He was able to catch him with the straight left hand, as Marcus Browne is a southpaw. Has a beautiful left hand. One thing that Marcus Browne going to have to kind of tighten up is his hooks, man. He kind of telegraphs his hooks a little bit. And he kind of, it's like when he throws his hook, he don't throw it with conventions. He don't snap his hook. He don't throw it with fluidity. Let me just put it to you like that. He's going to have to throw them hooks with a little bit more fluidity, man. He seems like, when you're a shooter and you're not following through with your shot, with the hand and the wrist. You trying to like guide the ball into the basket, and that's the worst thing a shooter can do. That's what Marcus Browne is doing with his left hooks. He's trying to guide the hooks in, man. Maybe that's where he throw them. He kind of throw them in a funny type of way. Maybe I'm making too much out of it, but I just kind of seen that in the Jean Pascal fight. He's going to have to tighten that up, man. Because those hooks, man, can do damage if you throw them with fluidity. And that's going to have to be the thing that you're going to have to hit Arthur Beterbiev with to get his respect. Because if you don't get his respect, if you don't hit him with something that's going to hurt him, make him respect your power, he's going to walk you down, man. The one thing about Arthur Beterbiev is he's a guy that's, what time it is with him. He's going to bring the pressure. Smart pressure, too. He's similar to Triple G in that regard. Smart pressure. He ain't coming in there with no reckless pressure. He's going to come in there real patient with you. He's going to walk you down, close the distance, round by round, close the distance, hit you with them body shots early to try to break you down. Then he's going to try to set the stage for you to worry about them body shots. Then he's going to come up the top with the right hand. He's got a ferocious right hand. Very sneaky right hand. He's very short, too. Short and accurate right hand. He don't need to extend that right hand to hurt you with it. Very good fighter, very good fighter. Now, one thing that I believe is Achilles' heel for Arthur Beterbiev is a high guard. He does not punch with his opponents. So when you punching, he's not punching. So Marcus Browne, he need to let his hands go and then let his hands go some more. Because when he doing that, all Arthur Beterbiev gonna do is have the high guard. He's not gonna punch with you. That's one thing that got him in trouble with Jean Pascal, because Jean Pascal was punching with Marcus Browne, and Marcus Browne stayed in too long. Instead of getting off his two-punch combinations and getting out, he was like getting off his two-punch combination and staying there, and he got clipped multiple times in that fight and got dropped multiple times, cost him the Jean Pascal fight. He can't do that with Arthur Beterbiev. No, he can do that with Arthur Beterbiev. My bad. He can do that with Arthur Beterbiev. He ain't got to worry about that with Arthur Beterbiev because he can jump in and get his combinations out and Arthur Beterbiev is not gonna punch with him like Jean Pascal punched with him. He's gonna be in the high guard, so he's gonna be able to tee off on Arthur Beterbiev, and that's the reason why I'm predicting that Marcus Browne will defeat Arthur Beterbiev. You heard it here, folks. He will do what George Kambosos did to Teofimo Lopez. He will go into his opponent's backyard and get the upset victory. I'm predicting it here in this video. Marcus Browne will defeat Arthur Beterbiev. He will drop Arthur Beterbiev in this fight, and I think he will win a decision. I don't think he's gonna stop Arthur Beterbiev, but I think he might come close to stopping Arthur Beterbiev. But I think ultimately Arthur Beterbiev has a real strong chin, and I think he will be able to hold up. He held up to Calvin Johnson's power, and Calvin Johnson is one of the most ferocious punchers at light heavyweight. Him, Joe Smith Jr., and Arthur Beterbiev are probably the two top punchers in the division. So he was able to withstand his power, so I think he'll be able to withstand Marcus Browne's power. But the problem is that's going to come into play is the high guard and Arthur Beterbiev's inability to punch with his opponents. I think this is going to play a big part in this fight with Marcus Browne, who's a very good combination puncher, has a good left hand, has a good jab when he wants to use it, and has good left hooks that he can get off on in this fight, man. Like I said, he's got to throw it with more fluidity, quick measuring those hooks, and I think that'll play dividends for Marcus Browne too. Now, as far as Arthur Beterbiev, his best bet is to jab to the body to get in. Because if he just tries to come in with the high guard, man, he's going to be basically in a defensive mode, trying to close the distance. And Marcus Browne's just going to be able to go around the high guard. Because what people make a mistake about is punching. When a guy got the high guard up, you just trying to hit him with them straight punches, man. He blocking those punches. You go around the high guard and start hitting him with them shots to the ear. Because with the high guard, the ear's not protected in the high guard. The ear shots are available in the high guard. And I think that's going to pay dividends for Marcus Browne. Now, Marcus Browne got trainer Derek James in his corner. Derek James has been talking about becoming the first trainer to have 3 multi-division champions in his stable, as he's been messed over, in my opinion, in the Trainer of the Year awards a couple of times. He probably should have won it. He didn't get it. And he'll be looking to do what I don't think any trainer in boxing today has 3 multi-division champions under his tutelage that he's training. So that'll be something that's, in my opinion, much more prestigious than winning any Trainer of the Year award. Because, the last guy that won Trainer of the Year, Teofimo Lopez Sr., he trains his son, Teofimo Lopez Jr., he got Trainer of the Year off of one fighter. Why ain't any other fighters trying to sign Teofimo Lopez Sr. as that trainer if he's such a good trainer? See, when you know you're a good trainer, you got multiple guys. They ain't got necessarily be champions, but multiple guys that fighting at a high level that you are training. Look at what Freddie Roach did. Freddie Roach had multiple top fighters that he was training. So those guys, in my opinion, are great trainers. Robert Garcia at a time had multiple top guys that he was training. Ronnie Shields at a time had multiple guys at the top level that he was training. Virgil Hunter at a time had multiple guys at the top level that he was training. Teofimo Lopez Sr. get Trainer of the Year off of one fighter. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's just like Angel Garcia. Danny Garcia's trainer. He ain't trained nobody else but his son, man. He's talking about he's such a good trainer. He's doing all that talking. In my opinion, stealing a lot of shine from his son. His son has made him take a step back, though. You ain't seen him recently, as you see Danny Garcia more in the cameras doing videos now. doing interviews now. But about 4 or 5 years ago, it was all about Angel Garcia. But I think his son probably told him to take a step back, man, finally. But with all that being said, man, he didn't have no other fighter but his son. And I think he might have, I don't think he won Trainer of the Year, but he was in the running for Trainer of the Year. And he was talking about, you know, I think he was saying he should have won the Trainer of the Year. So with all that being said, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Can't wait to see it. I'm going to be going to Twin Peaks to watch the fight tonight. Tomorrow night, we got Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley 2. I'll be breaking that fight down. I'll probably do a prediction video on that, and that's going to be very interesting, man, as we've had a nice little run here of consecutive weekends of great fights. Great fights, not great fight, but great fights. You know, going down in back-to-back days. Remember we had Devin Haney, JoJo Diaz Saturday, and then we had Javante Tank Davis, Eastside Cruz Sunday. This weekend we have Arthur Beterbiev-Marcus Browne Friday, and we have Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley 2 Saturday. So I'll be at Twin Peaks to check that fight out, sip on some drinks, eat some wings, kick back and watch that fight. And I hope you guys find your way to check out the fight, man, because this is one of the best matchups that we can have in 2021, as 2021 is ending with a bang. A lot of great fights, man, and hope they continue that into 2022. And from everything I'm hearing about these fights getting announced for early part of 2022, it seems like they're going to be doing a good job of picking up where they left off at the end of 2021, that being the sport of boxing. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts on who you like in the light heavyweight title clash between Arthur Beterbiev versus Marcus Browne. I got Marcus Browne winning the fight on decision. I got Marcus Browne dropping Arthur Beterbiev. I have Marcus Browne having a shot at stopping Arthur Beterbiev, but I don't think he does that. I think Arthur Beterbiev, with experience and his toughness, will not get knocked out, but I do think he will get beat. And I think the problem with Arthur Beterbiev is, again, that he doesn't punch with his opponents. That was a problem in the Jean Pascal fight. That's why Jean Pascal was able to knock down Marcus Browne multiple times. But Arthur Beterbiev don't have that in his repertoire, and I think that will be to his demise in this fight. As I like the more athletic, the more technical, and the more I have a point to prove Marcus Browne winning this fight. Now, Marcus Browne has had a history of domestic abuse, and he had problems with his girlfriend and stuff like that, and I don't condone none of those actions. But it seems here recently he has got his life back in order. To me, he seems focused, and I think he again wins the fight tonight against unified light heavyweight champion Arthur Beterbiev. You know, when you look at both guys' resumes are not the strongest resumes in the world. Like I said, Arthur Beterbiev has been in there, in my opinion, with two quality fighters, that being Caleb Johnson and Alexander Gosvick. You look at who Marcus Browne has fought, he's been in there with maybe 2 to 3 quality opponents on his resume. He has a record of 24 wins, 1 loss, 16 KOs. So he has a pretty good KO percentage. He's a pretty good puncher. He's not the puncher that Arthur Beterbiev is. He's not the puncher that Joe Smith Jr. is. He's not the puncher that Callum Johnson is. But he is a real good puncher. Make no mistake about it. He's not a Paulie Malignaggi. He's definitely not that. So he has respectable power, and I think that'll come into the play tonight against Arthur Beterbiev. But when you look at his resume, he's been in there with Thomas Williams Jr., like I stated earlier. His best win is against Badu Jack in a gruesome fight, as Badu Jack had a beach ball in the middle of his forehead. Real gruesome, but that don't take away from the fact that that was Marcus Browne's best performance, as he was able to tame Badu Jack, a guy that likes to come forward and hit you with a lot of body shots and overwhelm you with volume of punches. He was able to make Badu Jack fight his style of fight. He was able to hit Badu Jack with the straight left hand. He was able to keep the distance with the jab. He was able to hit him with some hard shots to get Badu Jack's respect early on. So it was a great matchup, great performance, and he'll be looking to duplicate that against Arthur Beterbiev. You know, I was looking on his resume, man, before I did this video, man. I didn't know he had fought let's be in Marcus Browne. He fought Aaron Pryor's son, Aaron Pryor Jr. So the late great Aaron Pryor, aka the Chicken Hawker, the Chicken Hawk, Aaron Pryor. No, my bad, Aaron. I'm about the Chicken Hawk. I'm thinking about West Side Connection, but Aaron Pryor, aka Aaron the Hawk Pryor. His son fought, and that's one of the guys that Marcus Browne defeated. That's one of the guys that he defeated in his 24 victories in his professional career. With all that being said, let me know your thoughts on who you like in this particular matchup. You like Arthur Beterbiev, or do you like Marcus Browne like I do, pulling the upset victory? Let me know your thoughts, and hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and I holla.